The Cobra effect, understanding unintended consequences in social problem solving. The term Cobra effect is derived from an anecdotal historical incident in British colonial India, where an attempted solution to a problem led to unintended and counterproductive consequences. The story goes that the British government, concerned about the number of venomous cobras in Delhi, offered a bounty for every dead cobra brought in. Initially, this policy seemed effective as many dead cobras were turned in for the reward. However, some enterprising individuals began breeding cobras to kill and collect the bounty. When the government realized this and cancelled the program, these breeders released the now worthless cobras, ultimately increasing the cobra population rather than reducing it. This phenomenon illustrates the complexities and potential pitfalls of policymaking and problem solving in social contexts. Dear valued supporter, we appreciate your ongoing support for our channel. For those seeking additional ways to contribute, we offer subscriptions on Patreon and Boosty, providing exclusive perks as a token of gratitude. Join our community and let's enhance this journey together. If you prefer an alternative, PayPal donations are also warmly welcomed. Your generosity helps maintain and improve our content. Whether through Patreon, Boosty, or PayPal, your support is crucial in sustaining our channel. Thank you for considering these options. Links will be indicated in the description of the video. Understanding the Cobra effect. The Cobra effect refers to the phenomenon where an attempt to solve a problem ends up exacerbating it, often due to unforeseen and unintended consequences. The term originates from a story during the British colonial rule in India. To reduce the population of venomous cobras in Delhi, the government offered a bounty for every dead cobra. Initially, this led to an increase in dead cobras being presented for the reward. However, enterprising individuals began breeding cobras to kill and collect the bounty. When the government realized this and cancelled the bounty, the breeders released the now worthless cobras, leading to an even larger cobra population than before the policy was implemented. The mechanisms behind the Cobra effect. The Cobra effect typically arises from several key factors. 1. Perverse incentives. Policies often create incentives that encourage behavior counterproductive to the policy's goals. In the Cobra bounty case, the incentive to earn money led to cobra breeding rather than elimination. 2. Unintended consequences. Policymakers might not foresee all the potential outcomes of their actions, leading to new problems that are sometimes worse than the original issue. 3. Behavioral adaptation. People adapt their behavior to new policies in ways that policymakers do not anticipate, often exploiting loopholes or gaming the system. Famous cases of the Cobra effect. 1. Prohibition in the United States. One of the most well-documented cases of the Cobra effect occurred during Prohibition in the United States, 1920 to 1933. The 18th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution banned the manufacture, sale, and transportation of alcoholic beverages. The intent was to reduce crime, corruption, and social problems associated with alcohol consumption. Unintended consequences. Rise of organized crime. Prohibition led to the rise of illegal bootlegging and speakeasies. Organized crime syndicates, such as those led by Al Capone, flourished as they took over the production and distribution of alcohol. Increase in crime. Rather than decreasing crime, Prohibition contributed to a significant increase in violent crime associated with the illegal alcohol trade. Health risks. The production of unregulated alcohol led to the consumption of unsafe, sometimes toxic, beverages. Prohibition was eventually repealed in 1933 by the 21st Amendment, acknowledging that the policy had failed to achieve its goals and had created significant new problems. 2. The Soviet nail production quota. In the Soviet Union, central planning often led to examples of the Cobra effect. One notable instance involved the setting of production quotas for nail factories. Factories were given targets based on the number of nails produced or their total weight. Unintended consequences. Focus on quantity over quality. When quotas were set by the number of nails, factories produced many small, useless nails. When quotas were set by weight, factories produced a few very large, heavy nails. Inefficiency and waste. The focus on meeting quotas, rather than producing useful products, led to inefficiencies and waste of resources. The emphasis on meeting arbitrary production targets often resulted in the production of items that were not fit for their intended purpose, highlighting the pitfalls of poorly designed incentive systems. 3. The Hanoi rat bounty. In colonial Hanoi, the French colonial government faced a problem with rats infesting the city. To combat this, they implemented a bounty system, paying for each rat tail turned in. The idea was that people would kill rats and bring in their tails for a reward. Unintended consequences. Breeding rats. Similar to the Cobra case, people began breeding rats to collect more bounties. Cutting tails and releasing rats, To keep the population of rats to breed from, people would cut off the tails and release the rats, leading to an even greater infestation. The rat bounty policy ended up exacerbating the problem it was meant to solve, demonstrating once again how incentives can backfire. 4. The Bangladesh tube wells. In the 1970s, UNICEF and other organizations funded the installation of tube wells in Bangladesh to provide clean drinking water and reduce waterborne diseases. The goal was to improve public health by providing a reliable source of safe drinking water. Unintended consequences. Arsenic poisoning. The groundwater in many areas of Bangladesh was contaminated with naturally occurring arsenic. The installation of tube wells inadvertently exposed millions of people to arsenic poisoning, leading to serious health issues, including cancers and cardiovascular diseases. The initiative, though well-intentioned, resulted in a major public health crisis due to the unforeseen presence of arsenic in the groundwater. 5. The Australian rabbit problem. In the 19th century, European settlers introduced rabbits to Australia for hunting purposes. The rabbit population exploded, causing widespread environmental damage and threatening native species. Unintended consequences. Environmental degradation. Rabbits became a major pest, causing soil erosion and loss of vegetation. They outcompeted native wildlife for food and habitat. Failed control measures. Various control measures, including the introduction of predators and diseases, had limited success and sometimes further disrupted the ecosystem. The introduction of rabbits to Australia serves as a classic example of how introducing a non-native species can lead to ecological disaster. Lessons learned from the Cobra effect. The Cobra effect provides several valuable lessons for policymakers and those involved in problem solving. 1. Consider behavioral responses. Policymakers must anticipate how individuals might alter their behavior in response to new policies. This requires a deep understanding of human behavior and incentives. 2. Holistic impact assessment. Before implementing a policy, it is crucial to conduct a comprehensive impact assessment that considers potential unintended consequences. This can involve scenario planning and consulting a wide range of stakeholders. 3. Flexibility and adaptability. Policies should be designed with the flexibility to adapt and change in response to observed outcomes. Rigid policies are less likely to succeed in dynamic and complex environments. 4. Feedback mechanisms. Establishing robust feedback mechanisms allows policymakers to monitor the effects of their policies in real time and make necessary adjustments. This can help mitigate negative consequences before they escalate. 5. Learning from history. Studying past instances of the Cobra effect can provide valuable insights into potential pitfalls and help in designing more effective policies. Modern examples and applications. 1. Environmental policies. Environmental policies aimed at conservation and sustainability can also fall prey to the Cobra effect. For example, subsidies for biofuel production were intended to reduce reliance on fossil fuels and decrease greenhouse gas emissions. However, the increased demand for biofuels led to the conversion of forests and agricultural land for biofuel crops, resulting in deforestation and increased carbon emissions. 2. Healthcare and pharmaceutical regulations. In healthcare, the Cobra effect can manifest in various ways. For instance, regulations intended to control the price of medications can lead to unintended shortages. Pharmaceutical companies may find it unprofitable to produce certain drugs at regulated prices, resulting in reduced availability and access for patients. 3. Housing market interventions. Rent control policies, designed to make housing more affordable, can sometimes lead to decreased investment in rental properties and reduced maintenance of existing units. Landlords may convert rental properties to other uses, exacerbating housing shortages rather than alleviating them. The Cobra effect serves as a cautionary tale for policymakers and problem solvers, highlighting the importance of considering the full range of potential consequences when designing and implementing policies. Famous cases such as prohibition in the United States, Soviet production quotas, and the Hanoi rat bounty illustrate how well-intentioned solutions can backfire, creating new problems or worsening existing ones. By learning from these historical examples and adopting a more nuanced approach to policymaking, we can better navigate the complexities of social problem solving and avoid the pitfalls of the Cobra effect. By understanding and mitigating the Cobra effect, policymakers can craft more effective solutions that achieve their intended outcomes without triggering unintended consequences. This requires a careful balance of foresight, flexibility, and an in-depth understanding of the behaviors and incentives of those affected by the policies.